Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War van objectives for the Start Your Engines event, in which the Tesla's engine is added to the game. So this week is rather interesting in that we have finally got the much awaited Adana Rework, as well as of course the new Kingdom Pass system. This is actually the final feature of version 6.9. Is the changes to the Kingdom Pass. So we're basically going to be starting with that, going over the changes that end up occurring, go over the Kingdom Pass itself, and go from there. So since we're already here, let's talk about the Kingdom Pass. So this is the last feature that was changed in version 6.9. Basically what they end up doing is substantially reducing the amount of time it takes to end up completing out a Kingdom event. So basically, before in the past, it used to take 5 weeks, 35 days, in order to go and complete out the entirety of the pass. Now it is only 2 weeks. However, there were some adjustments that were made. You now get 2 crowns for every single battle, whereas before it was 1. You can end up seeing the total amount of battle crashers now. As you can see, we have taken 2 so far today, which has netted us 4 crowns due to them dropping 2 each. But probably one of the more major ones is they are now weighted evenly. So it is much easier to end up actually finding these things. So if we go switch over to, I guess we'll go with one of the Ironhawk builds. Actually, let me go the other Ironhawk build. But we'll go one of our Ironhawk builds here. Go for a few battles, and we should end up being able to see it and see it activated. Hopefully. They are weighted evenly now, so we no longer have the whole wait forever kind of aspect. However, the earlier ones might be a little bit more separated compared to before. But from what I can see, they're coming pretty quickly. I think the first 2 I got within like battle after battle. This one came in, we did 2 fights now, and we already got it. So they're still pretty quick, and they're all weighted evenly, so no longer we have to do like 100 battles or something to go get the final one. They are all just as easy as the first one to get. So that's a huge change. I haven't actually tested the whole time frame of how long does it take to go get all of them in a given day. As you can see, as we already done a few of them. However, if I had to guess, it is probably like 5-ish minutes, give or take a little bit. Obviously, it depends on what teams you have access to and everything like that. But as you can see, it now shows we have 3 of the 10 battle crashers for today. Definitely make sure to do this every single day. It definitely punishes you a bit more if you do miss a day, which is probably the only big downside of that. However, as you can see, we got 2 crowns. We had 4 out of 5 earlier, and now we have 1 out of 5, meaning we got an additional reward. Also, be careful not to accidentally click the pay thingy thing. I think pretty sure it has a warning, though I don't want to click it just in case. But this is still, if anything, even more useless than before. But you can spend 100 gems to skip a tier, but make sure not to click that unless you absolutely need it at the end. And of course, all the rewards are still the same. Unfortunately, we did get a repeat pet. But we do have 4 new troops coming in. None of them are particularly special or noteworthy in any way. They just kind of exist. But, things to go fill out. A couple of deed books, stuff like that. Pretty standard loot that we would have in any Kingdom Pass. Oh, yeah, I never did get to check the 2 weapons. One of them, or the free side one, is deal a bunch of true damage to 2 random enemies. Then create some bomb gems, which because it doesn't have follow-up directly, don't see that being particularly good. Though the other one on the paid side is, okay, it is Explodey one. It explodes a gem, and then gives a bunch of armor to all allies, boosted by bomb gem destroyed. So one thing that is kind of thematic with this Adana rework is, of course, when Adana first came out, it released with the game. And, of course, bomb gems just came out last year. So one thing that they kind of did with this Adana rework, as far as the troops and everything, which is a good segue into this next section, is they basically added bomb gems to everything. So I'll put this link in the description, but here's the Adana rework as far as everything they end up changing as of today. So there are 3 probably most noteworthy ones. There's a bunch of smaller tweaks here and there, but I'm going to go over what is probably the biggest 3. Though of course there are a few here and there that are, they can help a little bit. Like for example, this isn't one of the more relevant one, but Draco's 1337 got a 5% higher chance to instant kill, and that helps him a little bit. He was added when instant kills barely existed in the game. He's one of the first few, and because of that, he's kind of underwhelming, and that's still kind of underwhelming, 30%, but hey, a little bit of a buff. But I would say the biggest 3 are, first, the Bombot. So Bombot has always been a really high damage option that had a little bit of mana accumulation, and this actually increases mana accumulation. So Unstable Core, this was added to most every bot within the game. So from Adana. So if we go over to the Kingdom of Adana, let me save that because we actually don't have that saved for when we go do the other thing. There we go. But if we go over to some of the mechs, and let's just go down to Bombot since we're talking about them right now. There's a new trait that was added to most of these called Unstable Core, and it ends up creating 3 bomb gems when it dies. This, for the most part, on an average trip, not really that special. However, pretty beneficial on Bombot. He ends up dealing damage to a bunch of enemies, boosted by his armor. But he also gets to do 2 destroys. Keep in mind, the bombs, even though he dies before the explodes, the bombs do occur after the explode. However, bomb bot is normally used with multiple. So what you can end up doing is, destroy a bomb bot. It then creates 3 bomb gems. You then go do another bomb bot, and those 2 explodes will hopefully hit the bombs you already have on the board. And then boom, that essentially just increases the amount of mana accumulation bomb bot can do. As 2 explodes, that doesn't get you that much mana, but 2 explodes that get a few bomb gems that do pretty much a 5x5 kind of explode kind of area, then that's going to be a lot more mana as far as what you can end up accumulating. So interesting to see exactly how this pans out in that regard, as he's probably the biggest beneficiary of this change. Aside from that, there are 2 other really noteworthy changes. Oddly enough, one of them is a lack of a change, and that is the good old Ironhawk survived. He's never getting nerfed. So Ironhawk is still the most viable thing in the entirety of the game. It is available in event keys this week. We'll get to that in a moment. Really good event key value. Like, dump every event key you have if you don't have some of these things. We'll get to that in a moment. But yes, Ironhawk was not nerfed, which is honestly more relevant than any change here. However, as far as actual buffs, not counting Ironhawk not getting nerfed, which is essentially a buff in itself, Tesla, I'm not sure why they did this, but Tesla has always been, basically, if you're a newer player, and you're looking for like one troop to just carry you through the entire game, I would probably say that is Tesla. And they buffed her. If she wasn't already strong enough. She has a 4-to-1 boost ratio in the past, and now she has a 3-to-1 boost ratio. So yeah, a lot more damage. This will be insane for events, like for example the World event this week. Just run Tesla, run double Tesla, you're good to go. But this is also insanely good for newer players progressing through the game, and it's actually so much of a buff that even later in the game you might actually start considering using double Tesla for things, as it was already good, but getting this much of a damage buff on top of that, it scales really well. Because the whole premise of Tesla, let's go to the troop because it's kind of hard to tell from just that, but the main premise of Tesla is, she doesn't use her magic still. She's a mage that does not use her magic. I believe she's one of the only ones that has like a +6 magic that gains no benefit from having higher magic. Surprised they didn't change that today, but they made her better still. Surprised they didn't do that in a different way, like keep her 4-to-1 but gave her some kind of magic scaling. I find that so strange, because they increased her damage, but see, she still doesn't use magic. But anyways, she deals 8 scatter damage, true damage scatter, and if that's where you stopped reading, obviously this would be like the worst troop in existence. However, it keeps going. Boosted by all ally and enemy armor. The biggest part there being, of course, enemy armor. This allows it to scale through the entire game, so even if you have like no stats and the enemy has 1,000, well, you're still going to hit them very absurdly hard. She can 2-shot, actually, I think she can 2-shot almost all content in the game now that I'm thinking about it. You know that she has a 3-to-1 instead of 4-to-1, especially when you have the spell increase during a world event like this week. But yeah, that's a huge damage buff. She was already able to triple shot most things. She now has a wider range of what she can end up double shotting, so there's even more that you can end up ultimately using her for. They also changed her final trait. I honestly cannot remember what it was before, but now it gives a bunch of attack and armor to all allied mechs. It is oddly enough kind of useless, and so was the previous one. The main reason being, because she's a human and not like a human mech or something, she's almost primarily only used with other humans, like the 50% mana start humans, stuff like that. We'll be going over a team with her in a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of weird because the whole point of Adana is like, oh, it's like a human mech, ever so slightly dwarf mix that kind of like all synergize together into the mechs. And they, like a bunch of the humans and stuff have like mech buffs, but none of them are actually ran with mechs. Because it's better just to build like a pure mech team with like mech in his class and 50% mana start and all that. But anyways, so yeah, that's the Adana rework. Most notable things being Bombot, Tesla, and Ironhawk did not get nerfed. Those are the 3 biggest changes. Everything else is basically just some cores and some really small tweaks that are mostly irrelevant because they're on already useless troops for the most part. Anyways, that's the Adana rework. So since we're already here, I guess we'll go over the event key drop table. We're kind of already on that screen. However, dump every event key you have. So this is probably one of the highest week you can ever use event keys on. And it's most noteworthy for getting 3 specific things. One of them is, of course, Tesla. If you do not own double Tesla, you do not want to leave this week without double Tesla. Maybe even get a triple if you can. This thing is already strong, and it just got buffed even more as of today. And you can run this through the entire game, through pretty much every piece of content, and you'll be perfectly fine. Obviously, it's not best in slot for necessarily everything, but it's a great option for like high-level pet battles, high-level dungeons. Pretty much anywhere you can use her, you can get away with it. She's pretty bad at like the low-level range for the most part. Like, you would never run her on like low-level explore, quick kill teams in that regard. But she's really good at scaling throughout the entire game, and her alone you can basically just run through the whole game with. as far as like higher level content, as long as she's usable in the game mode. So insanely good. Make sure to get it, and she got buffed as of today. Team 9000, well, it didn't really get any changes as of today. It also didn't get nerfed, so that's always good. It's just a really high true damage option. One thing that's pretty noteworthy about it is it's effectively the tankiest physical spell damage troop within the game. While there is a troop that has 75% spell reduction, this has 50% spell reduction while having a massive armor gain, making it effectively tankier than the other option, while having a very high damage output. This is particularly synergized with Mech Hero class to give 50% mana start, only requiring 12 mana in order to hit for pretty substantial damage. And in most PvP-like situations, hitting twice with a Tina 9000 will kill your enemy, as the current value of most HP in the current state of the game all the way in endgame is roughly, I want to say like 135 or so. And this thing averages, well, around like 70-ish, 80-ish. So 2 of those hits, boom, that would kill out the average PvP-like situation in a battle, assuming they did not have spell resistance. So that's going to be very, very strong, as it's always been. So that is a potential option. The other one that is obviously the most noteworthy thing is the unnerfed Ironhawk. It survives another day. And honestly, I think it's going to survive forever at this point. If they didn't nerf it today, I don't think they are ever going to nerf this thing. And I sure hope not. It did get the unstable core. This does not buff or nerf it. I believe it had like reinforced or something here, something pretty pointless that I never used, and it was replaced with something other pretty pointless that it also won't end up using. But it got to keep its 2 most important things: impervious, which is somewhat important, but obviously it's truly most important thing. The deal 5 damage to all enemies when an ally casts a spell. This might sound really weak, but you can run this on super low level Explorer and other locations that have ridiculously low durability, running it with Dust Devil and other empowers, and you will just instantly win the battle. And it is currently the absolute best thing for farming Vault Events, and Vault Event is the best loot you can ever get in the game, so by proxy, it is the best farming troop in the entire game. I highly advise not leaving this week without 2 of them if you have the spare resources, obviously. We are talking thousands upon thousands of event keys. We're talking, like if you're trying for 2, you might need to do upwards of 5,000 event keys, so do be wary of that before you start just chugging them and hoping you get it. Because there are 3 mythics here, and they're all weighted evenly, so you could just get a useless Sparkinator or something. Getting a T9000 is not as bad, but, you know, you're ideally wanting to get to the Ironhawk. Alternatively, you could try some now and then wait until it's in Soulforge and end up doing it that way. But, yeah, I'd highly advise at least trying with the event keys that you have. Definitely make sure to at least get the Tesla if you don't have enough to be able to go get the Ironhawks and stuff. Because earlier on in the game, you could just, you know, keep your Tesla, double Tesla, triple Tesla, run that, and then later on, you can end up getting the Ironhawks then. But overall, probably one of the best, highest value weeks you could ever throw event keys, so good time to dump them if you don't have those options. Most notably Ironhawk and Tesla. Anyways, next order of business. Let's go over some of the other things that were going on. Of course, World Event, pretty standard World Event. It's a 15 battle, another 15 battle set, and then it goes to all of them at once. Most noteworthy thing is just don't take the Smashal bots. Just as long as you don't take the Smashal bot, you should pretty much be good to go. There's a little bit of a weirder scoring from the 16th to 30th battle, but as long as you're not taking Smashal bot, particularly once you get 31 plus into the battles, you should be good to go. And eventually at 31 plus by about your 50th battle, they're probably all going to be tank bots anyways, or Smashal bots, I mean. And at that point, you're just clicking one location over and over again, and then it becomes a pretty standard reward event. We have access to all of Adana, so we have access to Tesla Team, Tina 9000, all those kind of things. So we have some pretty good options. Obviously, you'd most likely want to go down the Tesla route. I just showed this so we had a different one here. However, of course, double Tesla going to be one of the main things you're probably going to want to run, especially because that spell damage increase does affect her. While she does not increase a benefit from magic, there are 2 effects that do increase her damage. One of them is spell damage amplification, which these medals do, and the other one is Fairy Fire. So Fairy Fire to 50%. We don't have access to it for this event. However, it is something that increases Tesla damage if you were concocting some kind of team out of her. Anyways, other than that, let's go over some of the things that we have going on this week. This Tuesday, we're going to be having the Tinkertown faction event. Has a pretty good red-yellow Perpetual Storm guy, but you can get him whenever. It doesn't have to be during the faction event, so there's that going on. Wednesday, we have ourselves the Adana Pet, which is kind of weird, because you can also get from the Kingdom Pass, so at least you'll probably have this pet maxed, if you don't already, by the end of the next 2 weeks, or by Wednesday or so. Or, you know, it's in the Kingdom Pass and also here, so it's just spamming us with that pet. Of course, we have the trial version of it too, though luckily the trial's not anywhere near as bad. Thursday class event, we have Mech. Mech is an okay hero class. In the current state of the game, it's pretty much only ran with mechs, but it's not a bad hero class. But you pretty much only exclusively use it with like Tina 9000, maybe a bomb bot build, stuff like that. Very rarely are you just plopping it down when you don't have any other mechs on your team. Generally, your team is 4 times mech if you're bothering with mech in this hero class, as there are just other hero classes that do pretty similar or better if you're not using mech. So it tends to be exclusively a mech-only hero class. But in those contexts, it is actually a really strong hero class. It's not like one of the 50% that barely ever get used. It's one that is actually pretty viable. And this Friday, we're going to be getting a deep delve. I honestly cannot remember for what faction, but we are getting a new deep delve this Friday, and we'll go over that then. But we have plenty of other teams for everything else on the week in a little bit here. So as far as the Soul Forge is concerned, I would say the highest thing is Guard's Avatar. Oh, I ended up showing the non-Guard's Avatar version to make it cheaper. I should have shown the Guard's Avatar version. Maybe we'll overwrite it. We'll see. Maybe we'll just go make another one. But anyways, Guard's Avatar. Most noteworthy thing Guard's Avatar is for running faction events, including tomorrow's. Basically, if you have access to yellow or brown, you can run Guard's Avatar into Sir Quat and Hadley. It's a very strong combination that is almost exclusively just ran for Underworld, basically for Tuesday events. So it's a great option to pick up. It's not super high priority, but if you're starting to get to the point where you have most things in the game and you don't have Guard's Avatar yet, I would highly advise picking it up, as it is a nice addition to make Tuesday events ever so slightly quicker. You could probably shave off about maybe 5 minutes or so by having Guard's Avatar on some of the days compared to not having it, as it's really effective at running the low level range. It's basically like a Rowan in that it scales based on its armor, and it has a completely different color restriction compared to it. Rowan is green-blue, and this is a red-yellow-brown, so it covers nearly every color Rowan cannot access, which makes it a great Rowan alternative for Underworld, which is pretty much his main gimmick. Yagoi is strong, but I wouldn't normally advise wasting to craft a legend, except for Tesla. Tesla's the main exception. But it is pretty strong and worth just kind of showing or mentioning. And Piskia, I'm not a fan of Piskia. I would definitely say get Guard's Avatar over Piskia, but it's a very luck-based Devourer. When it works amazingly, it just auto-kills the entire team within about a few extra turns that it just loops anyways. But at its lowest, it goes like 5 casts with 2 Devours per cast at 30% chance, never once devouring the enemy team. The Devours are also random, so if they have a lot of immunes to Devour, you're good to get even less Devours. And overall, it's too luck-based of a mechanic for me personally. It does get a lot of value when it works correctly. The problem is when it works correctly, which is not always, but it gets enough loops that even if it's not necessarily getting a Devourer every time, you're still getting a lot of mana accumulation, you're still getting a lot of chances. But it's a very luck-based damage source, and given that it has overlap with Tesla, I would just go down the Tesla route. It's a lot more consistent, and you'd save a lot on not needing to get this Mythic until a later point. As far as weapons are concerned, there's a few Adana weapons here and there, so you can end up getting those if you want to kind of help out with the event week. Like I think on one of the teams I showed like a Mech axe or something. Drill Shooter is actually a relatively interesting one too. If you look at its ability, it looks like a pretty standard weapon, but this is actually one of the highest insta-kill chance weapons in the entire game. It has a 20% chance of doing lethal to the first ally, while having pretty decent extra turn potential. So even though on the surface it doesn't look like anything special, it is one of the highest few insta-kill weapons in the game. This is very rarely used, mostly because it's pretty much can only really be used with Adana teams, and generally if you're building a Adana team, you're going all in Tina 9000 or all in Tesla, which this weapon does not particularly synergize well with due to it creating red and yellow. Obviously they both use red, but neither of them end up using yellow, which, is a bit of a dead color. Mech Axe actually has the issue too. It generally creates blue, which almost no mechs use, so you only really benefit from the red. Both the weapons are kind of sketchy in that regard, but yeah, it does have the overall highest, or one of the highest, if not the highest, insta-kill chance of any hero weapon. But despite that, it is very rarely ever used, despite having such a mechanic. And of course, the most obvious one, Doomed Book, Doomed Red Book. If you want to pick this up for Guild War, definitely a good idea to do so. It's not something you need until later in the game, but if you're at that point, definitely make sure to go and get it, as you'll probably use it for every red Guild War defend for the rest of time, unless they rebalance how things work or add more Doom items that are actually viable other than Book. But yeah, it's a pretty good pickup, mostly a Guild War option. And yay, we got Guild War next week, so you can pick it up before that Guild War. Anyway, so, and of course this Friday we're going to be getting the Deep Delve. So let's go over a bunch of teams, and we're actually going to be showing a couple of these too. So first things first, let's go all the way from the top and start with the World Event teams. So obviously you already saw this. It's just T9000, quick kill. But next one, obviously Tesla, all in Tesla. We're basically using a Clockwork Sphinx in order to go and feed it a bunch of mana accumulation. We have even more mana accumulation in front of it to go do the explodes, and just click Tesla until you win. She has a bunch of additional spell damage, and you guys just go crazy from there. For the super early fights, you might even want to put your Tesla up a little bit more, just so it's not being blocked on an exploder, or even go like the halfway point if you really wanted to. But later on, you're probably going to need to double Tesla to end up having enough damage, so you can end up opting for that. Just get both of them to full mana, boom boom, and you just kill them all out with a double Tesla. So next, I did show the finesse team here. Should have probably showed the guards team. I kind of forgot I was in Soulforge. But I felt like we showed like almost every single week. But of course, guards, Avatar, Surqua, and Hadley probably what we'll be running. Just kind of showed a finesse team because it's a nice, cheaper alternative. And I feel like I always show the guards Avatar team, which is a little bit harder to build because, you know, you have to have a guards Avatar to make it work. Speaking of which, Hiking Iron got Zolgoth, pretty standard for the higher level range. We don't have as good of a Exploder this time, but, you know, still get your job done. Merilith, going to probably be your primary mana accumulator, if you can help it. Harpy Mage is there for the second turn in power, just to make sure you guarantee get mana. Oh, apparently I did not change the Pure faction. Well, we'll build it right here. So, all we have to do now is go over to the Kingdom of Tinkertown, which of course are the options that we're going to have for this event. I had a feeling I was forgetting to do one of them. Tinkertown. So, as far as Tinkertown is concerned, it's a bit of a weird one. I believe you primarily have to work off of the Smashobot, which is the thing you don't want to take in the current world event. But I believe it was like Smashobots, Tink Tink, or something like that. Because he needs resummon. Basically what he does is he gives a bunch of armor and life to all allies, boosted by red allies, and then summons 1 to 3 Tinkertown bots, which could be any of these other 3. So basically what you're doing is going up front with your Smashobots, which is the highest damage source. Get a nice 69 damage in there, and, you know, it just does a lot of damage. It does a bunch of mana accumulation, does a decent amount of damage, and it has a chance to kill itself out. And basically you need to double Tink Steam Whistle, as he's primarily your entire team. You just want to keep resummoning over and over and over and over again in order to keep replacing out the dying Smashobots into one of these 3. And essentially your team is just going to be 2 Tink Steam Whistles that constantly just keep resummoning the first 2 slots. And you just do that over and over again until you ultimately end up winning. As far as mana, honestly, this banner is almost already correct, except we want to go for a non-minus purple. We'd probably want to go for like a minus green. I don't think any of them use green there. So we want like a double green yellow, I believe. Let me just double check the troops. We'd want double green brown. So we'd want to go to our banner, go to brown, and just pick up like any supporting color that seems like it'd be good. Oh wait, do we not use purple though? You know what? We might have to go to double. Why is there no double brown other thing? Okay, you know what? We can minus a different color if we really want to. Let's minus like, let's see what is off of purple. Because I want, like, yeah, something like that. Something like that would work. But, yeah, either banner. It's almost exactly what we were, except we reversed the brown and the yellow. Yeah, something like that along the lines. You're basically just spamming team, Tink Steam Whistle and spamming out as much. Oh, you know what? We could actually go into red too. But the problem is not all of them use red, so you might get a summon that doesn't utilize it as well. But anyways, you're basically just spamming out Smashobot until you win, or until they die, and then you just resummon off of the Tink Steam Whistle. Ideally, get good summons and just kind of keep poking them. It's a bit of a slow win, but it's a pretty consistent win. Definitely not the quickest of factions, but it's a pretty safe one overall. The reason you run 2 of this Tink Steam Whistles, you need to make sure at least one of them survive going into the final fight. And as long as you do, you're pretty much good to go, since you can just resummon his entire team, and then you just keep using that resummon team in order to win out the fight. Anyways, next, a couple teams I actually want to go mess around with. Maybe even Adana Trials. Why not? We came this far with them. Might as well go and actually mess around with a few. So, this is not meant for here, though. Actually, this is meant for the Mech class event, but we can still kind of show this just to kind of show off the good old bomb bots. You know what? I'm even going to put it on Explore 12. I'm not even sure what its damage range is on Explore 12. But we're going to try it and see. So this is actually the team for the Mech class event this Thursday. However, I do want to showcase very briefly the bomb bots, as this is one of a few that did technically get buffed with the most recent changes. Nothing on his ability specifically, but it got bomb gems, and out of any single thing that uses specifically the unstable core, this is definitely the biggest beneficiary of unstable core. I should have just taken that brown. Now we're going to have to... No! I should have just taken the brown on the previous turn. I need that other one to have full mana before I cast this. Ideally, we want all of them to have full mana before we cast this, if we can help it. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is do Bomb Bot. It does boost ratio from armor, so it gets a lot of value. So now, ideally, there's some bomb gems on the board. So ideally, you know, it will explode. It will explode some of those bomb gems, and then, you know, you'll get a little bit extra mana. You'll maybe get a higher chance of extra turn by having more board clear for more areas that can end up getting it. We even got one there. So yeah, that's basically new and improved Bomb Bot. It's not much of a change, but it's the biggest beneficiary of Unstable Core. Though do keep in mind, the bomb gems are created after the fact, so you're guaranteed, unless you land an extra turn from the explode, you're guaranteed giving the enemy one turn where they can take the bomb gems themselves. But it's a nice way to kind of give Bomb Bot just a little bit more viability, and overall, definitely biggest beneficiary, and pretty much only beneficiary of the Unstable Core. Next we have Adana Trials. Should we go show one of these? So there are basically 2 ways to run this, I would say. One is the way that you would run it at the lower fights, you know, like the lower level range, just to get it done quicker. And then at the higher level range, where you scrap the useless limp bot that basically does nothing. And that's pretty much the game plan. So I will show at the lower level range because that's where we are. So let's go show one of these battles for the trials. And of course, we'll be doing the rest of them on stream throughout the... Oh, that's not the right kingdom. I was like, wait, where's the epic trials? But yeah, we'll do this one. Obviously, the epic trials are these last 5 here, and it gives you a bit of a buff to the thing. So this is our team, as I mentioned earlier. And we're basically just going to structure it upwards here because we're at the lower level range. Once you reach the higher level range, you're probably going to want to sacrifice the thing. This allows you to build just a little bit more armor on Karnex before it's your first slot, which is mostly beneficial to be able to use your 25% additional damage, which is the main premise there. But since we're at the lower level range, we will simply go all in. So the main premise of this place is also, I believe this is the first time the banner does nothing. Not literally nothing, but you get a +1 red, +1 yellow, and of course we only need the yellow. Also, I had heard someone mention on the forum, though I didn't actually double check, but I believe losing your fight against this does not give you the crowns. I'm not sure if that's a bug or a feature, but yeah, be very careful not to lose your fight against these. Luckily, they can't run away, so that's good. But yeah, do be careful around them. I'm not sure if that's a feature or a bug currently, but it does seem like if you lose this fight, so you basically want to make sure you get all your crowns done on. They're pretty quick too, so it's going to take like what, 5 minutes, not even. But you do want to make sure you get all your crowns done before you do any harder fights that you could potentially lose, just to make sure if that is a feature and or bug that, you know, you don't get afflicted with it. But basically, the main premise of this place is we're throwing down insta-kills. This thing has a 5-to-1 boost ratio for its insta-kill based on how much armor they have. So the whole premise of this place is just insta-kill them until you win. It's honestly probably the easiest one we've had so far. Maybe the infinite loop for the other one was a little bit easier, but it's definitely pretty high up there for near easiest possible option we've ever had for running out these trials. So that's nice at least. Also, there's going to be so many bomb gems on this board soon. Like we have a Karnex to go explode all this out, so we'll go do that. Boom, boom, boom. Quite literally. And now we just start tearing everything apart. So we do this. Boom. Hello, insta-kill. 5-to-1 boost ratio off of that much armor is a, let's see, 150, 30. That's a 40% chance. I guess it's not that high. I was expecting that to be higher. It will be at the higher level range, obviously. The higher you go, the higher that damage potential will end up being. Also, I just realized this fight is not going to be as quick as I initially anticipated it to be. Hold up. This fight is not going to be blazing quick, will it? We got to go for it. Let's see. At least we'll get to see the full experience. But actually, it's kind of weird because this is definitely the first trial we've had where the trial will be completed quicker at the higher level range rather than the lower level range. Which, oh gosh, if we died to Deathmark. And the main reason for that is his insta-kill will constantly go higher and higher. And you will eventually reach a point where we'll have near or literally 100% chance to... Oh, we actually died to Deathmark. That's a bad sign. But he will reach a point where he has near or exactly 100% chance to end up insta-killing, which unfortunately we do not have access at the lower range, but the deeper you go, higher chance you'll have for that insta-kill. And at this point, we're going to kill him with true damage instead of insta-kill. That's so bad. But yeah, he does get stronger the higher you go, which actually makes it easier the higher it goes, which seems counterproductive, but due to how his mechanic works, it will actually get easier as long as you have enough tank ability to tank, which is why you scrap this in first slot. That's actually one of the whole reasons why you scrap that in first slot at the higher range, because your whole point is just cast 3 Panthers to insta-kill all of them at the super high range, and then you auto-win. Whereas, unfortunately, at the lower level range, it's ironically harder. Honestly, the hardest fight might end up being like 2 tiers from here, where they have like 150-ish attack or whatever they'd have at that range, but still won't have enough armor to be one-shotted that easily. Like, yeah, the first or second star battle might actually be the hardest star battles you could do for this current set, due to how the main damage source you have functions, which is kind of weird, but if you get past the first few, it's only going to get easier, not harder, at least in theory. Let's see, can we finally get at least 1 insta-kill? Come on, do it. He has so much armor. How much boost ratio is this? It's going to be like a 60% chance. We haven't landed a single insta-kill yet. Come on, 60% chance, go. Thank you, finally. But yeah, at the higher level range, he'll do that every cast. But wow. That took a little longer than anticipated, but it does get easier, not harder. But there we go. Anyways, in other news, that's how basically what your strategy is for all of them, and make sure to move the mech to the higher position when you reach the higher range. So, you know, move that to first slot once you need to. But currently, I think I could take the next one, maybe the next 2 or 3 without needing to do that. But once you start getting deep enough, you need that to basically just buffer out their skull damage. As you can see, we're already up to 125. They do have 20% stats this week, so they're pretty bulky. In all fairness, so do we. However, that doesn't really help us because our Panther's damage is primarily his insta-kill chance. but if nothing else, that 20% gives them higher armor, so it'll make them even easier to one-shot with your Panther. Anyways, so that's that. Other teams. What's our next one? So, Adana Trials, good, check. Okay, so Ironhawk builds. We kind of already showed this earlier, and we've showed it many times in the past, but this is a pretty relevant week to end up mentioning it. So there are a couple kingdoms that you can still one-shot. I'm not sure. I believe the full list currently Cinemirage, Wild Plains, and Draxum. I can't remember if there's another one I'm forgetting of, because I know a couple of them don't work anymore, like Blackhawk and such. I believe those are the last 3 that work for the one-shot. Cinemirage, Wild Plains. I normally do it over here because it's 2 next to each other. And Draxum. And normally I just do it in Cinemirage for no particular reason. But yeah, move it to Explore 1, and you'll have yourself 2 different one-shot teams. So this one is most notably ran for Vault events, particularly Nomapaloozas, whenever there is a Vault event. Next one is on June 2nd, unless they change the date. But as is currently scheduled, is June 2nd. As you can see, it wins at a absurdly quick pace. It's the quickest win you could possibly get. It wins in about 6 wins per minute, give or take a little bit depending on how quickly you click. And yeah, it's just a really good option. Just one-shots, boom, boom, boom. And that's all you have to do. This one that we just used is a 20 damage range, the one with triple, and is the quickest possible win you can ever have in the history of the game. And this other one is ran, so this is used for verse farming whenever you need to kill stuff quickly, but you can only run it in the locations that have under 20 durability. And what I mean by that is like Cinemirage, Wild Plains, the ones I just mentioned. However, this has a much wider range, and you can run it pretty much everywhere on Explore 1, and it's also ran for running Nomapalooza so that you can have the higher damage range. This does 25 damage, but it requires 2 casts instead of 1. It doesn't take that much longer. It probably takes like, what, 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe to end up casting that. Probably not even. But you do have to cast 2 things. But you have auto extra turn on this. Normally you run Sister Superior. You can run Greed and stuff like that. The problem with Greed is it explodes 1 gem at the start of battle, which wastes a few seconds, and for how quick it wins, that is a lot of time. So it's normally better to go Sister Superior or similar things that don't end up triggering much at the start of battle, while still having Innate Power that does basically nothing as to not waste time. But those are 2 core teams that are used for farming for pretty much everything in the game these days. It's just the quickest possible way to win compared to the next alternative. It's roughly like 40-50% quicker than the next alternative, like Rowan quick kills and stuff like that. So it's a very massive upgrade, and it's one of the only few teams that actually require like multiple of a mythic. Like one Ironhawk does almost nothing, so you kind of need 2 or 3 of him to really make him function, which makes it, in theory, one of the most expensive mythics in the game, since you need 2 or 3 of it to make it actually function correctly. But once you do, you'll have access to the best farming speed options in the entire game that did not get nerfed. So yeah, that'll be nice going forward. Hopefully that will never get nerfed for the rest of the time. And for whatever reason, they buffed Tesla. Why, I have no clue, but honestly can't really complain. It's most noteworthy for being a hard carry for any newer player who gets their hand on it. And you can run it through the entire game until you get better options. And with the buff, it might literally be your better option. Because that's massive, how much more damage you can do now. So let's just test on Explore 12. And let's just see. So you can run a mana accumulating weapon here. I'm just running with her Skier Shield. There's a lot of options there depending on what you feel like running. But the main core of the team is double Tesla and the Holy Saint Ashura. Of course, we can't do this for the Ward event, as this is not from Adana, it is from Whitehelm. However, the main gimmick of this is it gives 50% mana start to all humans. Obviously, Tesla is a human. And yeah, then we just take some mana, go from there, boom, and just cast Tesla once or twice, and we should be good to go. I'll go and make sure we get the second one, as I don't believe we have enough. The main reason for a Skier Shield is if you know you need a little bit more damage range to kill whatever you're doing, because you've been doing a lot of battles there and you know you need slightly more damage, you can throw down our Skier Shield to cover that last little bit of damage. But we just do this once, boom, and do it again. Come on, kill! Yeah, look at that, double Tesla for the kill. I can't remember if you needed triple Tesla there before, but yeah, if you did, well, double Tesla works now. You can run double Tesla Explore 12. I think this was already possible, but if it wasn't, well, now you can. So that is an option potentially worth exploring, depending on what your Explore 12 team is at the moment, as it is a no mythic team. You do not need any mythic to make this work, though you do need 2 different legends, technically 3 if you count double Tesla. But yeah, really strong team. You can run it through the entire game. You can run it pretty much everywhere, you know, assuming colors provided, and that the mode lets you run it there. But you can run this for pet battles. You can run this for Underworld, assuming, you know, coloration allows you to. You can run it for anything you want. Explore 12, any kind of high-level content scales through the entire game. You don't want to use that at the lower range, but at the higher range, it can work up to any range you want. It doesn't really matter. It just keeps going the entire game and never falls off, especially now that it has even more damage than before. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for now. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. The patch notes thing, I also will leave down in the description if you want to go and check that out, as I kind of just briefly went over a couple of them, but most of them weren't that relevant. The most relevant things are Bombot is slightly better, the Tesla is absurdly better, and Ironhawk did not get nerfed. It survives another day, another year, another forever, hopefully. Because the whole thing on Ironhawk, for any of you that don't know, back in the day, Dust Devil used to scale based on magic. Like, I'm talking like 7-8 years ago. Then they nerfed it, and for 5 years, you could not run like the insta-kill Dust Devil. And then Ironhawk came in like 2-3 years ago. And then that started the best farming team in the entire game back again. And now, it's been like 7-8 years now. And I think it was 7 at this point. And now I think we have fortified that Ironhawk will now stay the meta for probably the rest of the time. There are very few things they could possibly add that could make it any quicker than Ironhawk. And the things that would do that, they probably will never add. For example, like do like 5 or 10 or 8 damage to start a battle and spam like 4 of them on your team or something. Like, that's a mechanic they're never going to add, because you would literally win without even touching the board instantly just by starting the battle. So it's realistically going to be the quickest team that will ever exist for the rest of the time. The only thing they could really do is add another alternative that does it. Maybe a legend. I highly doubt that, though, to give incentive to actually go for a mythic multiple times over. But yeah, it's going to be viable for the next Vault event, and probably every Vault event forward, with the next one being on June 2nd. Anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up for now. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you guys later. All teams will also be in the description below if you want to go and copy-paste any of them. Goodbye, everyone, and have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching.